Can't believe we're getting there. This is painting number 99. Have fun. This is it, painting number 99. Let's have a look. Yeah, this was quite a battle with the colors. I initially wanted to have the background, like in the reference, a lot more yellow and kind of like warm. And then I struggled to guide the direction and the importance on her skin and sort of like on this face. In the reference photo it was kind of bright on bright, and then I couldn't really read the face, so it needed a bit of experimentation and kind of like going back to desaturation versus saturation, cold against warm. Painting number 99, and then there's only one more left next week. Kind of excited about, but also scared of what comes after and how this whole thing wraps up. It's been a long journey coming here, about 1.5 years that it took me to do these 100 paintings. I would have thought it could be quicker, but it's also been a very rewarding challenge and growth journey for me. And next week is all coming to an end. Speaking of which, this place here also is probably the last time I'm filming in here. We have to move from our Irish cottage to somewhere in town, and I don't know where and how we're gonna film there, but it's gonna happen. A little bit sad to leave this place at the moment, but I'm also looking forward to what's coming next. I'll give you a quick tour of my painting corner here just before this is the last time you're gonna see it. Yeah, so this is it. On here I put usually my little phone or an iPad or something to have a reference. Then on top of here you see these two lights that are very cheap, sort of like USB lights that I hang on the wall with these mini clamps. They're really practical, and luckily the ceiling has these kind of like old-fashioned strips that I could hang them on. And then I have my little tripod set up. Maybe show this from the side. I could have for outdoors sort of like some water in here, and I self-built this unit. It has some magnets in it, and I after a while figured out I don't have enough of a painting surface, so this is where I made this thing, and I hang it or clip it with these clamps. Here's my palette in here. This is sort of like a tin box for pencils that I then flip open and use the lower part for mixing, and the top part will have some colors in it. Then on the back I clamp board where I put my painting on, and yeah, for outdoor sometimes also good, being in very shady places, to have an extra light. All of the cables of the lights here, they're USB-A actually, these ones, they run into this mini unit here, where I can also put more real plugs in there. And I also, for the camera that is filming, usually I have a dummy battery that plugs right away into the camera, because sometimes I'm recording for an hour and a half at a time. The battery wouldn't last that long, so it happened to me that a couple of recordings I would lose completely because the battery died too early, and then the file that I was writing wouldn't be able to finish. So that way I had a couple of digital problems in some of the paintings where big parts of me painting were missing. That's how it is. Then on the side I have this little kind of drawer set up where I can store lots of things, for example my paintings, but also fresh paper, and on top a good area to put my brushes to quickly grab from, and also have a tin with water, yeah, and a trusty little spray to wet the canvas or the palette, whatever it needs. And that's really it. I think the most important bit on the setup, and that we will try to reproduce in the next one as well, is having these lights from top. I put some extra modifier around it, self-built one, that makes this light very soft, and you can step up sort of like how strong the light is, or pull it down, and they are kind of like 5500 Kelvin, so the temperature of the light is always the same, which makes painting in the evenings when it's dark very feasible, because otherwise painting or light bulbs, they have like really warm light and they change your colors a lot, but these ones, they stay almost like daylight-ish, and the colors look still the same way when you look at them the next day, which is really good for painting. And in the back it's very important to have no lights at all behind you, because otherwise you will always have sort of like glare on your painting. When the paint is wet, it kind of reflects, and that will lead to a lot of like unpleasant moments when painting, where you can't see what you're painting because everything is just like reflecting. So just having light from the top that is soft from two different angles, so you don't create a very harsh shadow, that works. Like, that's the most important bit for me when having a painting corner. And I'll try to reproduce the same setup again in the next place. Possibly would be great to have a proper easel that is not as wobbly as this one, but it's okay, and I can still paint with that. That's it for me. I see you in the next video for painting number 100, which will be the last painting of this series, which we'll see how that goes and what comes after. That's it for me. Bye bye.